With the 2024 NRL season finally done and dusted and the Penrith Panthers solidifying themselves as the greatest team in the modern era, their team takes another hit this offseason with two of their pillars of their dynasty departing for new teams in 2025. It does make this offseason one of the most intriguing for quite some time, as there are a lot of high profile players being shipped around the league. So today we'll be looking at the biggest and most influential trades happening for the 2025 NRL season. Let's run it up. When we talk about high profile players in regards to the front row position, they don't get many higher than Adam Blake. He moves on from the Warriors to the Cronulla Sharks in 2025, and it is a signing that to me looks like a perfect fit, something that the Sharks really do need. In terms of his attributes, he has a big motor and is light on his feet, but it's his consistency that will be the most beneficial. Stylistically, with how the Sharks utilize their big men, especially in the red zone, to me, as I was saying, it's like a perfect fit for both Cronulla and Blake. He's a bit of a try-scoring machine, and I don't see that slowing down because of the aforementioned, and I think Blake is exactly what Cronulla need to take them to that next level, that next step. So after the announcement of Adam Blake's departure from the Warriors, many, including myself, didn't think they'd find a front rower to fill that void or be much of an upgrade. That was until the announcement of James Fisher-Harris. Shock announcement, I was pretty surprised to see it. One of the pillars in the Penrith dynasty, some would say an unsung hero, as his work and presence through the middle of the field didn't really get talked about as much until later in the dynasty. With this recruitment, the Warriors don't really lose much, especially if we're talking punch in their forward pack, as Mitch Barnett has actually elevated in the position himself. The Fish signing is, I would say, a like for like with Adam Blake, or even an upgrade, as he brings in 5 years of finals experience as well as 4 years of premiership experience and winning culture. The other influential figure in Penrith's 4-year dominance, Jarome Luai, makes his way to Wests with a host of upgrades, one being his fellow Penrith Panther, Sunia Turuva, former Sharky Royce Hunt, and fringe outside back for the Bulldogs, Jarrell Skelton. When the news of Jarome Luai joining Wests first dropped, it was said that he would be the main guy, the dominant half, and a lot of people speculated whether he had the ability to do that. And through the progression of the 2024 season, with Nathan Cleary being sidelined for what felt like most of the regular season, Jarome Luai proved that he was more than just a fleet-footed running 5'8". Donning the 7 multiple times this season for the Panthers, he displayed a pretty diverse kicking game, both long and short. It'll be interesting to see how he gels with one of the hottest young halves in the league. And of course, re-linking up with a former teammate in Api Koroisau. It'll also be interesting to see whether Sunia Turuva will be playing on the wing or if he'll be playing at fullback. So yeah, Jarome Luai, a pretty influential signing, so much so that Wests aren't at the bottom of the Futures 2025 Grand Finalists list. A couple other surprise signings, for me at least, was the announcements of both Isaiah Papali'i and Blaze Talangi to the Panthers. It'll be interesting to see where these two end up playing. At his peak, Isaiah Papali'i, we've seen what he can do when it's a part of a solid system, like Parramatta for example during the Premiership contenders run, we'll say. It's not much of a take to say that I think he will be returning back to that peak Parramatta form he was at when he collected the Dally M Back Rower of the Year. For Blaze Talangi, it's a rumour that he'll be playing in the halves. And if we want to compare styles, I think he'll fit in just fine alongside Nathan Cleary, as he has a lot of the same qualities as the departing Jarome Luai. Playing next to a now veteran Nathan Cleary, a lot of pressure will be taken off his shoulders, and his gameplay will be super simplified. It's really giving me some Ezra Mam vibes from the Broncos. You know, a lot of people are calling for 2025 to be the fall-off, but honestly, with these two recruits and a little bit of readjusting to their forward pack in the middle, I think Penrith will be just as strong as they have been these last few seasons. Stefano Manu to the Melbourne Storm. Now, there was a lot of chat around this kid and his value, and regardless of what you may think he's worth, there was one commonality amongst the chatter, and that was that Stefano had a high ceiling and plenty of potential. Now, signing to the Storm will most likely see him reach those projected heights. There's a rumor that Christian Welch will be departing the Storm, so like the others we've listed, it's a perfect fit for the Storm. They're actually in need of another mid, and under the coaching of Craig Bellamy, we may be looking at the 2025 buy of the season. One thing that Parramatta has been in need of these last couple of seasons was a genuine game-breaking outside back to complement the class they have in the halves and in the forward pack. And after the season that Zach Lomax just had, getting rep honors for both state and soon-to-be country, he could very easily fill that quote-unquote strike outside back void. The question remains now, where will he play? Will he remain on the wing, a position that was new to him and a position that elevated him to greater successes? Or could we potentially see him play a bit of fullback, seeing as the rumours of Clint Gutho potentially departing to the Red V seem to be getting louder, and apparently more so in the coming days? Zach Lomax to the Parramatta Eels makes the list purely off how good he was this season. Like I said, the change of position really elevated his status in the league. Coach Wayne Bennett and Josh Schuster to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now with the return of Wayne Bennett to the Bunnies, South Sydney go from bottom of the barrel dwellers to potential favourites for a grand final appearance, and I say favourites loosely. They go from the bottom of the ladder to a part of the top 5. As for the player signings, the one I've highlighted is Josh Schuster. They also have Ewan Aitken making his way over, and the reason I have Josh Schuster on the list is the untapped potential. You know, we all know how good Josh Schuster could be, someone that could play in the back row and someone that had so much presence when in the halves. But from all reports and from the outside looking in, also someone that lacked a bit of discipline. I think if there is a coach out there that can help guide a player down the right path, it is the elites, you know, your Bellyaches and the GOAT, Wayne Bennett. Another one to keep a close eye on in the 2025 season. The kid is just so talented, and if Wayne can get him on the right path, the Bunnies will be pretty destructive wherever they place him. And to put a cap on the wave of potential superstar signings, we have Val Holmes and Damien Cook to the St. George Illawarra Dragons. The only two new recruits for St. George, Valentine Holmes reunited with his grand final winning coach. Both these players are bringing a wealth of experience and a bit of stability to key positions, the spine in particular, Damien Cook, and a potential rotation with Jacob Little, who has been one of the Dragons' best this year. That could be a potent duo in 2025, and Val Holmes brings a bit of stability to their back line as he can play in any position in the back 5. Centre, wing, or fullback. It puts a little bit of pressure on their current fullback, Tyrell Sloan, who has been locked down for the next couple of years. All in all, it's two very good pickups by St. George. And like the others, I will be interested to see how they actually utilize these new recruits. And that about wraps up our first iteration of the off-season. We have plenty more of this type of video coming. Today's video was more so of the players that I'm really looking forward to seeing in the new season. Of course, if you have any thoughts and opinions of your own when it comes to the 2025 recruitment, let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to run us straight at that like button. For more rugby league related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.